Hey, welcome back, y'all. Today's a very exciting day. We will be building a new rig. So we're just gonna go ahead and adjust this audio. Okay, so I think I got you guys. Yeah, today is a special day. We will be building the new streaming rig and kind of showing you guys what's gonna be going into it and the future of what will be powering what you see. So the reason we're being kind of prompted to build this one, not necessarily because the rig I'm using currently is out of date, it's just streaming has come a long way, and the amount of codec that's required needs kind of an intensive CPU along with a graphics card to continue to use these animated overlays that you're seeing, along with music and all of that good stuff that comes with it. So, we'll go ahead and mute the soundtrack for now, and we will bump over to the exciting screen that I've been waiting for. So, this is part of the big release, guys. And in front of you, you now see all of the parts that will be going into the PC. The only two things that are not currently in front of us will be the RAM and the GPUs, which we'll be salvaging out of the current rig that we have because we have two beautiful 1080 Ti's that are by the MSI Twin Forza. So those will be plenty hefty. And as well, we will be using the 32 gigabytes of, I believe, 3400 RAM. So we've got quite a bit of RAM coming from this rig because we were already doing some video game development, so that was kind of required for that aspect. Unreal Engine 5 is beautiful, and let me tell you, this processor will be put to work coming up. So I will bop up here to the front to show you guys kind of what we've got going on. Forewarning, the screen is a little bit far for me, so I will be paying attention to chat. I never forget. But if we're in the middle of a build and I've got my hands kind of full, then I, you know, you'll see. So where do we start? We went with the same Corsair box that our current system is. This is just the new updated one. I believe that came out in 2020. And this will be the Crystal series. So instead, the current rig we have has mesh screens, and we'll go ahead and, for the YouTube series, we'll put a little picture here of what we've got for you that we're currently using. This one is also the black, but they have magnetic mesh screens, and we'll kind of dig into it once we get into it. But for behind me, we're going to start off with the importance. So as usual, when we go ahead and build new rigs, we will always be using rubber gloves to keep ourselves grounded off and keep the oils off of the new system. Of course, sometimes when you unbox things, they are covered in dust from the physical cardboard, so we will be spraying that off and removing it. Any wires that may have some lint, just to give us that really ultra clean build. At the end, we will be taking quite a bit of time for wire management, but the case that we've chosen here, um, I'll explain kind of why we went with that one. And then of course, I always like to get a new set of tools. It's about $5-6 for some drivers. If you're good about keeping them clean, then you don't need to buy a new set every time, but I tend to use these for other projects around the house and they get full of grease or oil, and that's not something I want touching the computer. So all right, so we've talked about the case, we've talked about some of the protection things that we're going to be using. I am on a hardwood floor, so I'm not too worried about static, and everything I'm wearing is actually spandex, so it's not going to generate static. I am grounded off. I have a grounding ring on my belt. So, next up we have here, we will be doing as much of the Acer ROG series as we can to try to keep the build clean. I know that we have MSI cards in here, but the idea is when those 1080s become out of date, we'll be putting a ROG Strix card back in the computer. I'm not quite sure what series we'll be going with. Today I was staring at the 5000s, but currently they're sitting at about 2500 a piece. And the two 1080 Ti's, if you were to purchase them again and put them together, you're not gonna notice much of a difference for your average gamer, maybe for video production or if you're rendering. Of course, you're gonna want the brand new one, but to save ourselves literally $2,500, we will be recycling the cards that we've got. But everything else is gonna be good. So we have an 850 watt ROG Strix power supply that we'll be using as fully modular, so we can get rid of the wires that we won't be using, helping us keep it really clean. It has the same metal finish as all of the other products that are within the computer, and we'll get to the rest. So another thing that was kind of a splurge on this one is we went with the 360 ROG CPU cooler. So this one's got an OLED LED display that will be telling us our cooling temp, a couple of other parameters that we can put up there so we can make sure it's running cold. And then also the fun thing about the OLED is we can put the CJ's Rift logo to kind of customize the PC to the user. So if anybody's interested in that, it is a little bit expensive. It's about twice as much as your typical Corsair unit, but it does come with a 3-year warranty right out of the box, like without purchasing anything extra. I prefer to pick up all of my electronics through Micro Center. We have local ones in most of the areas that I operate, so I tend to kind of stick with what's local. But if you're not as fortunate to be close to an electronic store like that, then I would recommend Newegg because they're giving you the exact same prices. Um, it's just I prefer to deal somebody in person than the you know, doing a refund over the internet. But hey, work with what you got. So the next fun thing is there was only 2 motherboards available at this current time that run the processor that we decided to go with. So this is kind of what prompted the entire build to be a ROG Strix. This is the X299E Gaming 2 board. It's their top of the line board that they currently release. It comes with an insane amount of USB ports, standard with USB-C, and the big factor that I was really excited is that it holds 3 M.2s. So we've gone ahead and we're going to fill those slots with 2 terabytes in each slot. So we'll keep going with that. And it looks like we just got another subscriber, so we're going to go ahead and take a look here. The Love Sosa, bro. Hey, I appreciate the subscription, bro. I appreciate it so much.
Is this a surprise?
Yes.
Discord?
Yes, this is one of the surprises from the Discord. So this is the brand new gaming rig that's going to be powering the stream. So as you can see, we've been dealing with random stream crashes, and I couldn't handle it anymore. So here we are. So this is a whole Acer ROG build to get you kind of recapped. And if you hang around, I'm going to build the whole thing right here on stream, and I'll pop in the Discord afterwards, and we'll start updating the drivers and doing all that, and kind of doing a review on the desktop as we're downloading everything, and we'll do a 3ds Max benchmark right on the brand new puppy to just see my hopes get crushed because it'll already say it's outdated, but that's 3ds Max. So anyway, moving forward, the brain and the heart of it. This was the biggest driving factor. I wanted to go with an i9. I use quite a bit of cores, so it was really important for me to have more than what I currently have, and I think I have a 67K i7 unlocked, and it's great, but it's at 8 cores, so when I'm streaming with OBS wants to use 8, but I limit it to, it looks like it's using about 4 to 6, but it's maxing the cache out on the processor, so I'm losing packets. So what ends up happening is my computer freezes, but the audio will continue, or something weird will happen, or my video driver will crash, and it's just because it's not able to stuff all that info on just 8 cores. And the logical cores, yes, it's great because it's 16, but you need more physical hardware. So this one, I believe, is 16 to 18. I believe it actually is 18 cores. So that gets, yeah, 36. Yep. So this is gonna be I don't think I'm gonna overclock it right out the box, but everything is on the new intelligence or deep learning intelligence by Intel, so it will slowly learn how I use the computer and tune its efficiencies, which I'm expecting tomorrow will be the release date for Windows 11, and there will be a bunch of AI in there, I bet, that will be fine-tuning every single system to just get the max it can with the components it has, because up to this point an operating system has been designed in one way and not really configured to be customized to each independent machine. And I'm not saying that Windows 11 is completely different for every device, but with the intelligence, it's going to learn how we're using it, and it will delegate its resources accordingly. So fun fact, it's the only Intel box that I've ever bought and that's completely black, so it makes it feel super special, like you're a part of some elite club. And it comes with a really, really pretty microfiber Intel cloth bag, as they act like you'll be taking it out and putting the processor back in the box and carrying it around for whatever reason, but hey, it's cool when you walk out of the store. So again, we went with the Evo Plus 970. There is a step up from this M.2, which reaches a capacity, I believe, of 3.5 gigs per second, and this one pushes 1.7 gigs per second. But again, I try to build my system around what my network is capable of. So as we currently sit right now in 2021, we get about gigabit internet. So I can't physically download anything faster to write it quicker. So it didn't seem necessary to spend for what it costs 2 terabyte M.2 on the brand new would buy us two of the half speed ones, but are obviously still plenty quick enough. So moving forward, we will be booting it with Windows 10. This is the first time that I've ever used the USB key instead of the CD key, so we can completely get the CD drive out of the device. Finally. I mean, everything's been downloaded for so long, but you've always needed that really annoying CD drive right out the get-go, unless you were making a bootable USB, which wasn't too terrible, but I don't want to buy a disk, go home, use a different machine to rip a USB to put it in. I just want to put the USB into the new device. So another upgrade is we've been using a capture card for our console gaming on this channel, and the USB 3.0 version of the Elgato is amazing, but I keep having issues where it just may have some connections, or you have to kind of do a little bit of a bootleg setup to get it into OBS properly. And it's really difficult to manage the different sound channels. Let's say if I got Minecraft playing on the Switch and I want it to be a little bit quieter, on OBS I only get one channel, but with the PCIe version of it, which is what we'll be installing in this rig, we'll go ahead and be able to split the channels down, which will give us further customization or being able to put overlays for future things that we won't discuss quite yet. But that's that. So the other thing that's being salvaged, obviously we talked about at the beginning, is the RAM. We got, I think it's 32 or 3400 speed DDR, and we will be taking the 32 or 64 gigs out of that machine. So we'll get most of this built, and then off stream I will have to disassemble the PC that's currently hosting us to finalize the build, but it shouldn't take more than an hour before we're back and kind of reviewing the device itself. So without further ado, we'll quit talking about it and we'll get to building. So I'm going to clear off this table. We're going to go ahead and put the gloves on and kind of get some of these boxes opened up, and we'll put the case on here, and I'll build it from that view so you can go ahead and see as we're going. I may move the camera throughout this. I only have one web camera, which is an amazing one, so it should do great work of what we're trying to attempt here. So we'll go get some tunes put on for you guys, and we'll get cracking into this. Let's see, so Sosa said hi, okay. Alright. Great work. This is going to be very exciting. Okay, okay. Go ahead and remove the Apple Watch because that won't be necessary while building. Alright. Yeah, I'm thinking this will take us roughly an hour to do. We've built too many rigs to count at this point, so nothing new, hasn't changed in a very long time, right? The fine details are always just making it look pretty and making sure it won't see that in one take, will ya? Somebody would normally cut that out, but we'll leave it. Cheap gloves, cheap results. It's okay. They have one purpose, to keep my hands from touching the rest of this. Alright. So we'll put the Mobo down here. Water cooler. ESU. Kind of full of hair up there. Don't want to do that. CPU. Both Evo drives. Intel bag and Windows 10. Okay. Cooking with gas now, y'all. So, this is a big hefty box. The series, I guess, or demo of building this will be kind of a review on itself, talking about kind of an unboxing of all these parts. So that's kind of exciting. Most places you'd have to go to a few channels to see all of this. You just get all in one here. Go ahead and cut it. We're just going ahead and cutting about 1 inch deep into the box. It's not necessary to stick your blade all the way because you could accidentally cut something that you didn't want to. So we're actually going to set this on the floor real quick and pull it out and put it on the desk. It's in a nice white cube. They pack it like they know what they're doing. It's definitely a box that you could reuse to move it if you were landing for safekeeping. And I'll kind of just pull it out of the foam here. Set it up. So it's packaged like that. That's what I'm kind of saying. They know what they're doing. They're keeping it safe. They're protecting you. Go ahead and pull off this front panel here. Remember, we've got a lot of glass under this, so we want to take our time and be careful with it. No rush. It's supposed to be fun. Kind of make it a process. Learn a little. Alright, so let's see. I'm assuming it comes off from the bottom. Kind of like an unveil. Maybe that's how we should make the thumbnail. We'll make it a GIF. And we'll have the case. Just kind of like, what's under here? Ta-da! Ain't that pretty? This is looking good. And get this turned here for you so you can see the gamer's point of view. We'll get you in on this. Let's turn down the intensity a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, it's a full glass. A little shaky, but no big deal. Kind of a side angle of it. Pretty nice. Okay. Should get this up a little bit because I need to see what I'm doing. Alright, so there's plastic covering on all of the glass here, but just to be safe, what we're going to do first is remove the glass off of the device or unit itself. So as we're building this, we're not worried about scratching it or damaging it. Kind of, the more we put into prep, it's just going to end up making us work less. Looks like we got some black tabs in here that are going to need to be broken off. Let's try that. Everything is so steel resistant now that it almost makes it impossible to work. Okay, so my review on Inland's 23-piece set. It took me more than 1 minute to open the box, so probably want to figure that out. Check this out. We got a case open. Alright, so the top looks like to be a standard flathead. That's quite large. So, looks very industrial. It's classic to the Corsair family that they really get cases that look like they mean business, if you will. I like it a lot. Get all of our tools here set up and ready to go. This is quite a cheap set of tools. Yeah, look at that. Oh, see? Now you'll see why I'm having an issue. Look at the quality of milling on this $7. It's too bright. Help me out here. Alright, so as you can see, it looks like somebody drew with it. That's not supposed to look like that. Anyhow. I think we got it. Okay. Let's take this. You know, second thoughts. I'm gonna try to get by without taking that off because I'm starting to see that the hinges on this thing aren't removable. So if we wanted to take this case panel off, like you can't actually take this off. It's stuck on the case, so don't break it or you need a whole new one. But we will open up the back side and the front here. So the first thing we'll end up doing is I'm gonna install the power supply in the case. We'll get that set, and then we'll bump back to the motherboard and pop the processor in there. And then from there, we can go ahead and just kind of hook up everything to the Mobo. Get juicing. So let's see, we've got some chat coming up here. I'm gonna check it out in just a second, guys. Give me a moment. Pulling off a thumb screw here. Let's see what he said. I believe it's from Joyce. Joyce said, "Oh, he building." Yes, we are building. So the back side is where the PS power supply, PSU, will be located. So go ahead and put you guys like this so you can see. And the case just slides off like that, very nice. As far as rigidness, a little waffly. There isn't much punch outs, I'd say, that really make it stiff. But here's this cool feature that I wanted to show you guys. So this is the mesh screen, and it's on magnets, so very easy to clean. It's almost like if you don't keep it clean, you're being too lazy, because like all you gotta do is rip this off and go throw it under the sink and let it dry out for a little bit, and then come back and put it on there. I must say the matte milled finish, very pretty. Not too glossy. It's not like the sun's gonna hit it and kind of just shine too bad. So we'll keep it with that. Alright, so it looks like we've got some traditional drive trays in here with some hardware for the case itself, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that in a second, but I want to pop this drive bay back in. Looks like we've got some stabilizing foam here in the top, just for packaging, very nice. And yeah, this is looking good, y'all. Yeah, buddy. Alright. Get our knife out here so we can cut the plastic sulfing off. Oh, what do we got? We got somebody? New follower. Daddy Long. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What makes you stop by today? And how are you doing on this fine Monday? We're chilling, building a new rig for the stream. Need something pretty beefy because we got big things going here. Here, first of all. So this is the packet of hardware, and it probably weighs like 2 pounds, no lie. Quite a bit of zip ties, some stickers, and of course the information manual that nobody reads unless there's a problem. So next we're kind of packaged in here. Go ahead and show you. Said I'm just watching, wishing my PC was better. Hey man, it's all just a grind. Save up and anything's possible, I promise. So yeah, we got some felt bags in here that looks really good. But yeah, we'll make this look easy. But look at this. Isn't that a beaut? So this is the silent fan technology that's incorporated finally in Asus. For the longest time, Corsair was the only one that had like the silent operation. So when it's actually cold, it doesn't run, keeping the system itself whisper quiet. We have 2 rails here. So this will be important. A lot of people, when they build, they actually just load one up and then put the extras here. If it's really important that you try to spread the loads, because actually within here in the components, these are 2 separate rails. So if everything's juicing off of one or the other, that particular rail will get hot and it will make the device itself inefficient, and it will either consume more power or, worst, hurt the life of the device. And let me tell you, these things are so temperamental. These will be the first things to go out other than your RAM, but yeah, take care of them, keep the dust out of them, all of that good jazz. So go ahead and set that up in here. And we'll keep the nice bags. I like to keep all the boxes, and I don't burn the boxes until the device is quite some time old, or out until the warranties are done, because it just makes the ease of shipping it back. Within another case, we have all of this fun cables. Now, the mesh itself looks pretty standard, yeah? But here's the big pet peeve I have, is they'll wire braid all of these to protect them, but then when it comes to like your SATA or Molex ones, they leave them raw. So like when you want that super clean build, you end up having to wrap these yourself later down the road. The most it might not matter, but fun fact, the braided cables actually disperse the heat better, which again makes the life of the cable last longer. We're all about taking care of everything. So for the time being, I will leave the PSU cables just kind of out. A nice big beefy 15 amp cable. So it's more than what you need, so the cable will never get warm. And again, cold, so it uses less power. And if you're a person like me that likes to leave my machine running quite frequently and I just put it to sleep at night, power efficiency is everything. So that's one pretty box down, and we'll go ahead and take over the cat tower one piece at a time. Alright, you see we got some more chats. I just want to take care. Not doing water-cooled system? Absolutely, we are doing a water-cooled system. Now we don't have a reservoir because personally the coolant is a decent thing to maintain. Each plate that goes on each graphics card is 150 a piece, and the processor's like housing unit to keep it cool is about the same price as an entire enclosed unit. Now, if you custom make your own reservoir host system, it looks beautiful, and I say it's always more supreme than this. But we did go with the 360 mil, which should keep it plenty cold, regardless of the amount of overclocking we're doing. And on top of that, we get the OLED screen. So I want to have some fun with a mini TV screen within the PC as a change to water cooling, because water cooling's been around for a long time and it looks gorgeous. But this is something different, and I'm all about just a little variation. So we'll go ahead and stick with that. But you know, if we start overclocking it and the system's getting too warm for whatever reason, then hey, we can either back it off, or come back at it with that. So I'm gonna take a drink here quick, mute up my mic, and then I'll get right back to you. Okie dokie. So, we'll go ahead and set this PSU. Get this out the way for you. Looks like we just have one turn drive screw. That's setting the anchor plate, which will set the pressure. We'll go ahead and remove that first. Now, here's another thing. See this? A lot of people just want, they try to put this in however they want in the case, yeah? This fan needs to breathe, okay? So it's going to be really important that we keep the fan facing out towards the open area and not putting it towards the back of the case. In this particular case, they have a punch out here just in case you're not paying attention. But we are, so good practice. Go ahead and install it with the fan always facing the most outward area or where it's going to get the most cooling. So we're going to put it like that. Man, that really sits in there, and to note, on the bottom of this, there's rubber grommets within the case, so this is pretty snug, just sitting in that, or seating in there. So now we'll go ahead and set our depth guide to where it needs to be. Get that nice and snug, and tighten this back in here. Okie dokie. It's really important that if you guys are working on carpet, that every time you come back to your rig, that you A, don't have socks on, and B, that you touch the case, the metal of the case, prior to touching any of the components. A very small electric charge is all it takes to really mess a capacitor up because they're not designed for that. So, just, you know, food for thought. The likelihood is very low that you'll do it, but hey, when it happens, you'll be really sad. So, and yes, I have done it. I've completely cooked a Mobo, and it was pretty sad. It was an MSI Gaming 5 board, and then that same board, I think, was such a bad architecture that when I did a MOBA update, the BIOS flash, which is like, you know, the main thinker, right? Failed and caused it to clunk the board halfway through the update, right? It's like pulling the plug on an Xbox, like the original ones, right? Just can't handle it. But okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and install the 4 backer screws here that go into the back of the power supply. And for the time being, I really wish I got a magnetic screwdriver, but I wasn't 100% sure if I had one already. Now I'm regretting not getting it. Okay. Let's see. Come on, find your threading. Find your threading. It's trying to bind my rubber glove into it. Where's the mounting? There it is. One down here. Get them in the good spots. I will be stripping off this one glove here just so I can get a better tactical feel on the screw here. I have a natural tremor, so it can make it kind of difficult to screw things in sometimes, but hey, everybody's dealt different cards. Okay. So we got the first one in. Next 3 are easy. Okay. And right here. Correct? I believe. Yeah. I believe. Alright. That one's seated, so we're 2 of 4. So, let's see, how you guys been? What you been doing on this Monday? Everybody just working today or what? Hanging out at home? Enjoying family? We did the Renaissance Festival over the weekend here in Detroit, which was a great time. It's the first time that my lady and my son have been to one. And just a unique experience, you know? So, It was cool. We picked up some candles. We got some tea. We got some smelling salts or bath salts that are meant for like Epsom salts, sort of. And then of course we got this big barbarian turkey leg that is easily 5 pounds, and it was really yummy. I probably got a quarter through it, or maybe even a little less than that. And yeah, I was stuffed, dude. Stuffed. I didn't get the meat sweats or anything, but they cooked it really good, you know? All the people there were dressed up and looked like from the medieval era, which is crazy to think that, you know, 400 years ago, that's kind of all it was. So, in certain parts of the world, I should say. Not everywhere. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the next glove back on, and now that we've got the PSU kind of mounted in here, we're going to set the rig off to the side and get working on the MOBA and installing our M.2 drives along with our processor. Now this particular processor didn't come with a heatsink right out of the gate. Now I don't traditionally use standard heatsinks because they love to get dusty. And if you build a system and you didn't put a heatsink that's other than the custom one on it, I would say the first thing that you should upgrade when you do, and it's not right away, but get a $30 little heatsink on there with some big beefy fans. It's easy to keep clean, and it'll really make sure that that PC makes it past that 5-year mark, because they really do start to combat, you know, dust is just everywhere, and not most of us really keep a Hermalocked household, so yeah, it's just something we gotta deal with. But you can get these little air cans that I was showing you guys earlier for like $3 for 2 of them. It's kind of like criminal how cheap aerosol is now. And these will go a long time and really good for you. So next, the fun big part here. This thing easily weighs 10 pounds. This board is a beast. And opening it up, of course, we get our standard anti-static bag, but it's really cased. Really cased nicely. It's looking good. And it feels sturdy in the box. When I was moving it, and it didn't feel like the board was slopping around in there, so if you're thinking about maybe ordering one and shipping it, I wouldn't be too concerned with it getting beat up. I kind of thought about that. Alright, so first and foremost, with care, very carefully, pull the MOBA out. Next, grab your manuals from underneath it and any hardware that you may need. There's a bunch of beautiful graphic stickers here that I'll show you guys very soon. Gamer Republic card, and it looks like the rest is just kind of some SATA cables that we were provided, along with some jumpers, and then that classic, I still hide in the basement and need a door card. It says accessible, enter if you dare. It's like a card. We'll get up close and kind of show you what this is, but that's really nice. We'll be putting that downstairs. Okay. So traditionally I like to keep this box right here, and we'll build the MOBA in it, just to kind of keep helping it stay rigid. And we don't want the capacitors on the bottom or the ends of the solder points on the bottom of the board to get smashed, because it could cause an arc, and arcs are really bad for electronics. So let's look here. We'll get an up close with you guys on the board here shortly. I'm gonna pull it out nice. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. You can tell the back has got quite a bit of slots. Looking good. Very clean, like milled aluminum chrome finish to the board. They did a nice job. I like the weight in the board. because there's quite a bit of metal, which means it's going to disperse the heat a little bit better and be tolerable to temperature, which is always a plus. So now we'll go ahead and flip this box upside down like we said we were going to use it, and this will just kind of provide a little bit of cushioning. Okay, so let's go ahead and set our M.2s and get those out of the way. That way when we come to work on the processor, it's just going to be a simple job. So let's get this table here moved up for you guys. Get you on a little more of a better position. Okay. So now you can kind of see what's happening a little bit closer. So our M.2 drives are kind of going to be hiding under these bezels that we'll be removing, and then our processor will sit here in the center. So the True Pickle. Hold up, that's Joe from high school, brother. How are you doing, man? It's been a long time. It's great to see you. He says, did you end up snagging one of those new GPUs? Absolutely, sir. I'll show you. So this isn't the Threadripper. You know, I've always been an Intel guy, but we went ahead and got the Core i9 Extreme. So yeah, this is the i9 10980XE with a 25 megabyte cache, 18 cores. It's really good to see you, brother. It's been a long time, man. So are you actually the one True Pickle? He is. And it's funny because Joyous, your last name like rhymes with your name, right? And how we say it. And same goes here for Joe. And that's why his last name and Pickle kind of rhymes, so it worked out great. So he says, yo, what's up? Are you actually the one True Pickle? You could say that, LOL, Pog. Yes, sir. Yo, man, it's been a minute. GPU. Yes, it's been a minute. I see that you and Connor went on a trip. Tell me a little bit about that. Where'd you guys go? It wasn't just you two, but I saw he was posting some stuff on his Instagram and a little bit of your Snapchat. So I'm just curious, man. It's good to see the homies. We're out here in Detroit, Michigan. I've been working on a job. Just, you know, got my head down, man, grinding. I got a son, an amazing girl. So, yeah, life's been treating me pretty good. But let's see what he says. Joe Schmo. No, that's not it, but... So, I used to do CSGO, and play CSGO a lot with Joe. It was a big game when we were in high school. And I'm sure they still play every once in a while. But we used to do LANs, or they would do LANs, and I was lucky enough to attend one of them, and it was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had, so always thankful for those guys. So this looks like that's where one of the M.2s go. Yeah, buddy. Let's rock it in there. Cooking with gas. What do we do with it, y'all? They right here. Potential spam call. You know what that means. Ignored. Okay. So let's see. He says, so yeah, him and I are roommates in the cities now, but yeah, we went to Vegas in the Pacific Northwest. It was a lot of fun. Dude, that's super exciting. I'm glad you guys stuck local. I'm so happy you guys stuck local. When we come back, we'll have to go get some lunch or dinner, man. I'd love to see you guys again. Catch up a little bit. Cosmic Quishy. Yes, let's install Linux. You're funny. I'm not hating on Linux, but like, let me tell you, when you try to download something and it's just like, you get that like thumbs down, that's like, it's not Windows. You want to play a custom game and you're on Mac, you just get sad. So, If it was my home server, absolutely Linux, 100%. 100%. Do you run Linux yourself? So, True also said, yeah, man, glad to hear you've been doing well. I'm hyped for you, this new PC. It's gonna be sick, thank you. Yeah, dude, let me know when you're in. Of course. Of course. Yeah, we'll go get some dinner, man. Take you guys to Pier 500, grab a couple drinks or something like that and hang out. Or, wait, what's that Italian joint you guys got down by you? Cassette. Hey, babe, what's that Italian joint that we love in the cities? The Italian joint that we love in the cities. Is it Cassetta's? Cassetta's. Yeah, man, we could go to Cassetta's too. If you guys are over by Dinky Town or whatever. That's like my splurge. I love that joint. Our family restaurant, dude, just sold this year, so it's bittersweet, but I was hoping to carry out the legacy. But hey, it's not to say that it can't be done in the future, you know? Just at this current time, it's not that's something I can do. Busy out here. I'm actually not liking the fit of this flathead, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a Philips that makes me a little happier. So he says, all games work on Linux, lol, but totally get you. I do indeed. Hey, that's cool. Okay, so here, let me just like rephrase it. It's not that I'm hating on Linux, I'll just say it. Like, I'm too illiterate for that. When it comes to like, I used to be so good with technology in high school. I was garbage at coding, and my buddy Connor can contest because he was basically, and I think Joe too, and coding too. They were my grade, bro. I slacked so hard, and they just saved my ass. But like, man, if somebody needed like a painting done, you just come right to me. I'll get it done for you. Okay, so we're running into a little bit of a concern here, and it's the M.2 screws. Don't seem to be the 2280. So I need a smaller screw. Maybe it's in our Gaming Republic bag here. Let's see. Yeah, man, I feel like this is a consistent problem with those drives. We have an issue, Houston. Unless it's in the bottom of this. No. Yeah, this is the bag. And I'm not seeing... Yikes, y'all. I just gotta use my eyes. We'll find it. These are the case screws. But those are much smaller. So I'm just curious, like, did I miss something in the bag? This is the jumper. Oh yeah. This is the box that came with that. Wasn't paying attention. Hey, buddy. Hello. Yeah, just building a rig. See. Yeah, I'm trying to locate a bag of screws that I may have misplaced. It's okay, I'll find them. Alright, so this is the wireless. Sorry guys, we've got to locate those if we can't install M.2s. What's in here? Ooh, those look promising. We found them, y'all. Just took a little bit of time. Okay, so Cassettes is amazing. Thanks, man. No worries. Yeah, it should be with the Mobo screws. Yeah, I found it. So, well, hey man, I got a dip. Getting a master's in IT right now, so I got some homework. Hey, brother, I appreciate you stopping by and take care of yourself. Don't work too hard, man. And good luck with that. You get it. You've always been a hard worker, bro. The master's program versus Joe. Joe wins every time. Okay, so yeah, like look how tiny these are. You can just barely see the screw. But we got it. Now to set it with a tremor like I've got, dude. Skill. Let's do it. Here we go. Got it. So again, just snug tight, not trying to break the device, okay? Just gotta be in a little bit. I'm actually gonna let it up a little bit. Okay. Don't wanna stress the chip. Okay. So we've got one M.2 under here. And we'll go ahead and leave these plates off until the very end, because if we keep putting them back on and then realize we missed something, it's just gonna be chasing your tail. So a lot of people try to like work them on spot and then like polish it off, and that's one way to do it. Advantage those. But keep on rocking it here. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight and joining. Hopefully this will be kind of a chill thing for you. Alright, so we'll bust into the second M.2. I'm very excited to be completely moving off of SSDs and... Okay, correction. These are SSDs as well, alright? But I'm excited to move over to the M.2s. Completely, instead of just seeing the speed difference, I guess. Like, I'm looking forward to the load times in my games being instant, quote unquote, claimed to be instant. So I'm really hoping that's the case, but I don't see why we wouldn't have an issue with it. So alright, I'll go ahead and put these down there, actually I don't need those. Alright, so in goes the other M.2 down here. You know, it said this board was capable of 3, and I'm really interested to know where the third one goes on this board, because I'm only seeing 2, so I'm glad I went with the bigger ones. Oh, this looks like it right here. This is an M.2 socket, so you can plug it straight in the board. So it's like a removable, kind of not removable, I guess. Okay. Now we got the second screw. These M.2s in. Alright. So we got the second M.2 seated and installed. Feels nice and tight. So that's gonna give us 4 terabytes. Four terabytes on here. Alright. Sorry, it's just adjusting my headset. So now we've got 2 clips for the processor. One comes up and over, and the other one comes up and over. so. Then when you're looking at the board, somewhere on this piece, there'll be a triangle. So on this board, I have an indicator in the corner here. It's just an arrow that points out. That's going to help us set the processor when it comes time, okay? So I'm not quite sure why this one decided not to completely disengage. What am I missing? Interesting. Okay. So we just gotta slide out this black plug. This metal clasp here stays on. Again, you can leave this kind of here for a reference, just so you know how you took it out. And we'll go ahead and set the processor here. Now, one thing I did not think about, and I'm hoping it's pre-applied, is the heat sinks thermal paste. And it does not look like we have any thermal paste. So we will not be setting the heatsink as of to now, which is acceptable. What time is it? Do we have time to hit the Best Buy? Might be open a little bit. If not, we can finish that off tomorrow. Okay, so this is kind of how it comes. It's in a plastic case, very nice and well protected, sitting on a bed of foam. Looks pretty sharp. Just comes off like a window. And the classic pull tab processor. It's pretty incredible to think that this is one of the fastest processors on Earth right now. I mean, in the top 50 for sure. So, yeah, you know, this would be alien tech 10 years ago. Pretty cool for how far we've come. Alright, so without exposing it too much, it's really important that when we pick this up that we touch it on the sides, okay? But I just want to show you guys in this top corner here, there's a yellow triangle. It's so shiny that it's hard to see, but in one of these corners there's going to be a triangle that points out, and that needs to line up with that triangle we were talking about earlier that's on the motherboard. And this is the only way to make sure that you've set it properly. Now when you set it down, it'll just seat itself in there. You'll know it's in its socket. Then the tray comes down to give it the nice lock and press. Shouldn't feel like you're forcing it, but it should be snug because it is contact. And we'll go ahead and leave that alone just like that. So we got all of our triangles set. We're just gonna double check. Yep. Yeah, this is a very nice looking i9. Kind of messed up there without getting the thermal paste. Unfortunately, we won't be able to finish it without that. This thing is really in there. They don't want it going anywhere. Put the window back on it. Back in its case. Alright. Got that closed back up. That's an Intel processor itself. Sweet. So, I'm gonna open this up. Tuck that in there. Alright. So, all that's left here on this board now would be the RAM. And putting a little bit of thermal compound on the processor before we set the heatsink on top of it. So
yeah, we can go ahead and put these protective plates that go over our M.2 back on and proceed with mounting our board. So I'm actually gonna get down here level with it so I can make sure that these things are seating where they're supposed to. Don't want it to be banging around or anything on there, you know? Just kind of getting it on there snug and protecting the hardware underneath it. And now when we come here to maintenance this and go ahead and give this nice clean brush or blow it off with air, do take the time to remove these panels and kind of make sure there's no dust trapped under these plates because it will accumulate down there. Alright. It's funny how the PC that you guys are currently watching the stream on, it's been failing every stream basically, and then the one stream that we do to build the new one, it's just behaving. It's like, I'm not bad. You don't have to get rid of me. You know, it is a great computer. It just, for streaming, has been somewhat problematic. Okay, so that should be that. We'll go ahead and mount this bad boy in here. Leave our channels open. We only want to fill one bay or the other, so I like to keep all my RAM local. So we'll pop these tabs up and just have them ready to accept the new cards when we go to put those in there. The reason I like keeping them over here is because wherever my MOBA power plug is, just for the aesthetic, it will look cleaner when the cluster of electronics is on one side, and you kind of try to keep as much as you can away from cords. Just more of a heat thing. Cables are warm. You don't think about it, but they do get hot. Okay. So next we'll go ahead and set this motherboard behind us real quick while we go ahead and set up the spot that will be assembling this. So go ahead and turn our case here on its side. Go ahead and open this up. Sure that's not being too hard on our hinges here. Yeah, that feels, you know, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Just to be smart, we're gonna go ahead and prop this with a little, you can see it here, this is a stilt holding the window, so we're not just letting it dangle. Alright, so do have quite a bit of cables coming through here. I'm gonna unwire tie those and probably regret it here shortly, but I do want to take a moment to get this kind of up and out of the way nice. So we can set the board here without any trouble. Now the plus side is we won't be using any SATA cables in this build, as there are actually no peripherals being plugged in that way anymore. Get this cable here tucked in nice and out the way. Okay. Alright. So of course to set the board, it's pretty simple. You can go ahead and see that you have a back panel right there, and that just faces the back end of the computer. So go ahead and find the chunkiest part of your board that you can go ahead and get a good grip on, and then when you set it, it should just kind of slide in there good, but you'll go ahead and take a peek to make sure all of your eyelets, or your standoffs as they refer to them, are lined up. And then once that looks okay, you can proceed with mounting the board. Again, not tight, just snug tight. One turn past snug is fine. So here it's the screwdriver doesn't turn freely anymore, you know? And then we're just gonna go ahead and give it a little quarter turn past. And I'll just make sure you're not smashing the silica in the board and worried about stress fractures. Especially when this thing gets hot and cold, hot and cold. So, gonna make sure that we get all of these in. Don't skip any of them, please, because any little slight rattling on the board is really hard on it. I lost a screw down there and we'll retrieve that with the magnet. But for the time and the video's sake, we're not going to go ahead and retrieve that right now. Alright. Alright, so let's see. Come back to the chat here for a second. He's saying, I'm gonna pop some balloons. Enjoy building the PC. LOL, that's true though. Nah, throw a box under it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good time. Balloons is always good. I don't know, what should be the first game, y'all, that we play on this? I almost feel like I should play Overwatch, but there's gotta be something that's a little more intensive to add to the WoW factor. It's a new game that's out, that's really just ripping it. Okay, so we've got this mountain. About one more to go up here in this corner. Maybe one across the top. Yeah, up here. So. Okay, so that should mark all of the board mounting. Should take care of it. You can just kind of give it a light test to make sure it's not lifting anywhere, but not too hard or anything, you know. It's not designed to be cranked off. So, okay. Moving forward, you can't go because you need to put a thermal paste here and get the heatsink on, and the RAM that will be coming into this rig is currently in the machine that you guys are, I'm using right now. So I'll be Frankensteining these two pieces off a stream. And just to recap, we have set the board, we have put the M.2s, and we've set the processor within the motherboard. Now in the front here, the graphics cards will be coming in, so we'll take a quick snap back to that once we pull those out of the rig that we're currently using. So moving forward, we can't do much wire management at this point because we have quite a bit of those coming in. But I do know that the two cards will be using the bottom two PCIe slots, and I'll just give that a quick double check to make sure that I don't need the triple spacing. And we can go ahead and mount our PCIe Elgato capture card. So I'll go ahead and move our noble chair out of the way here. Get that off stream so I can take a peek down here. Now, it looks like the spacing of the card are roughly 3 fingers. This. So let's see what that spacing comes out to be. Yeah, so these top two will actually be utilized for the graphics, and the bottom one here will be putting the Elgato capture card in. So Again, just to refresh you guys, if you tuned in later, you can catch the beginning. We've got this HT60 Pro PCIe Elgato capture card. I got the campaign going and just indulge in some of the best. Horizon Zero Dawn. Is this a racing video game? What kind of game is it? Okay. So it comes looking kind of like this. Here. Pretty nice looking. Clean. Comes with a backing plate that can be installed in your rig to kind of polish off the look. Now, unfortunately, this plate looks like it's for a tiny rig, you know. This backplate's about half the size of what we need, so it looks as if it comes with the standard full-size plate though, so it'll be covered. And we'll just kind of test with this in here to see which one we need to punch out. I do appreciate that they've wrapped the device in a static bag just to protect it on its journey. Here. We also get an Elgato sticker, it looks like, which we'll be taking. As you can see, very nice and shiny. It's got a 3M backing sticky on it that will definitely get used. So, it looks as if we need to remove the second row. Go ahead and just undo this real quick. Turn the thumb screw, which is always way too tight from the factory, and set the screw off to the side. But you can go ahead and remove the plate and put this in your box with your case, because if your needs change over time, then you could go ahead and fill this slot back up. If you leave these slots open, you're just kind of inviting dust in again. So it snaps in there pretty easy and clean. And we'll go ahead and put the screw back in here to complete the install. Now, the price point is pretty close to having the PCIe card versus the USB 3.0 one, which I also have that I've been using. This PCIe one's just going to integrate it, so right on Streamlabs you can just kind of select the card like a video capture device. It's not necessarily like a screen mirroring jump through that you got to do when it comes to the USB one. So by far, if you have space on your board to use this, then go with this one. But again, a quality capture card is really going to be important to give you the best results, especially when you're doing overlays and you want lossless. If your stream even comes in a second late because of a low quality card, the audio won't line up with the video, and you're just going to be taking shots until you figure out what's going on, and you realize that it's kind of unfixable at that point. So quality, please, save yourself headaches. It does come standard with an HDMI cord, which is always good. For the price, you better. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that in the box, so when I go to install and set this up, everything will be in the same area. For the time being, the hardware itself is installed and we can move on. Alright, processor, Windows, I'll come at the end here. Can't set our heatsink. Got our MOBA. Ooh. Power supply. Just kind of got good. All right, I am looking around here. I think that's as far as we can get on camera, y'all. we'll have to do a follow-up stream on the final little bit here. So what will end up happening from moving forward is we'll get some thermal paste on here. We'll get the RAM set. We'll install the CPU cooler, which will, since it's a 360, it will have to fit on the front 3 bay fans. It can't go on the top 2 here because it's too long. But we have plenty of space to install a radiator and still have room for our grommets and cable management. So just one quick thing, yeah. It's a thermal paste, RAM, set the CPU cooler, and then we'll go ahead and deal with this rat's nest worth of wires and make it look really good. But with that being said, guys, we will probably end it there so I can get to Best Buy on time to get some thermal compound before they close. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will be back a little bit later. And if you guys missed the later stream and want to catch the second half and you're interested, of course my VODs will always be on the YouTube and Twitch here. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back with part 2.